Oh, yeah. There is powerful niggardry at work here.
These blacks.
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's just sort of like this, like, don't you think that's problematic? Like, don't you think women like me are doing? It's like, you know, listen, we don't have time for political correctness. We don't have time
It's not about
to
being politically correct. And they make it personal, too. They're not saying you've got to shit out. So many women, you don't realize, who really, really wants the best for men.
Again, you might alienate a lot of people who would otherwise... And I simply don't understand this, let's sort of push women because maybe this...
Can a nigga live? Can a nigga live? Please.
girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back on a nigga. And that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga, because you were put here to drop that ass for a nigga.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No one wants to see a man cry, so I hold back my tears and I try to pick my head up and do it one more time before I call on the Lord. Oh. No, 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 no. no, no. No one wants to see a man cry, so I hold back my tears and I try to pick my head up and do it one more time before I call on the Lord.
Guess what?
Hey Jeff, hey Jeff, you want to talk about this tribe thing? Because here's my contention. I want to debate something with you. If you got a minute, in like the next 20 minutes, we can start a new show.
And she was robbing the city blind. Like, so we can't even use Tiffany Haddish as a real excuse.
Wait. So she dressed up like Nino Brown and she robbed the city blind. Nigga, right. That is black leadership to a fucking team. No.
So, okay, but you see, that's the problem. You saying that's black leadership, but it's plenty of other white politicians that did what she did, or even worse. Even worse. They've been doing it for years. But you want to highlight on a black woman. That's the wild part about it. Why are you so much harder on black people than other races? Is my question to you.
Don't you expect more from your woman than you expect from other bitches?
There it goes.
That's it.
There it goes.
So the reason
it's a combination.
So you just hold black people at a higher standard than any other race.
You can hear
like I said, don't you expect more from your woman than you do from any other bitches? That's such a silly thing to go against, bro. It's crazy. You would think that's wild.
So you felt the same way about Marion Barry? What about Ray Nagin, the mayor of New Orleans? You felt the same way?
When your brother fucks up, it hurts more than when some random nigga fucks up, bro.
All right, so therefore you do hold black people at a higher standard than every other race in this country.
I'm not making it a higher standard. It's not about a higher standard. It's about relation. Like I said, when your family goes wrong, it matters. When somebody else fucks up, listen, people fuck up every day.
So you saying we?
So all right. So if people fuck up every day, why is it not okay for a black politician to fuck up?
Because he's fucking my shit up.
All right. So what I'm saying is, why is it that you put a black politician on all black people, but a white politician fucking up? You're like, oh, that's just him fucking up.
Well, mostly because he's robbing white people.
Excuse me.
That's wild.
Oh, so I should care about the white victims of white crime? You want me to care about the white victims of white crime, but I'm wrong for caring about the black people who rob black people.
No, what I want you to do is hold them to the same standard. If a white politician do something, I want you to say white people.
No. I hold black people against black accountability. Why do I constantly have to look at white people to make it make sense, bro? I want you niggas to make sense without having to look at the white man.
Because the problem is that you're not holding any other race to the same standard. That's the issue.
I don't belong to nobody else, bro. You niggas are stuck with me. You niggas are stuck with me. You made me, you gotta deal with me.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
Welcome. Hit that like button on your way in. Thank you guys for tuning in for another show. I know I've been up in the level of productivity lately. I've been trying to stay on my grind. Can't accuse a nigga of being lazy, you feel me? I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired. Shout out to Rational Baz with the $2 super chat. Starting out the game early, putting in crazy work. That's a fact, bro. We putting in crazy work. Because niggas be trying to throw crazy work at me. And so we got to work it out. So I was on that panel yesterday over at Sharon's. And there was a moment when Nick Fuentes was brought up where they effectively questioned me about my support for a guy like Nick Fuentes. And I thought I would kind of walk through that conversation now, because the charge is that a guy like Fuentes has some kind of seething hatred for black people. I would argue that people are mistaking a level of honesty, and frankly, a level of racial grievance and defensiveness for pure hatred and animus and hostility. So that being said, I thought we would examine the phenomenon of Nick Fuentes and what he actually has to say about Black people, and why is it that Black people perhaps are not as offended, especially the young Black folk are not as offended by a Nick Fuentes as like the older crowd. Because I know last night we ended the night with a discussion with Uncle Jeff, and shout out to Uncle Jeff. Thank you for he held the floor here for like the whole show, 2.5 hours. Got a lot more out of him than I expected, and I really appreciate that. That being said, I ran into something in our conversation last night as we moved the topic toward race and racial issues, because I noticed there was an underlying spirit of what he was trying to profess to me. We were supposed to be talking about the family structure versus the tribal family structure versus the nuclear patriarchal family. But he kept kind of shifting the conversation toward things of a racial nature. So we kind of went there. And I discovered there is a level of racial grievance that a lot of the older Black crowd holds on to, because Jeff is older than me. He's probably like, you can say he's like from a generation slightly before me, right? Just maybe a generation ahead of me. And there's definitely a shift in the attitudes of the younger generation in their approach to racial issues, as opposed to the older generation who are firmly locked in to the bridge in Selma, Alabama. They are firmly stuck in the "I have a dream" moment.
It's the reason why people have broken out of the matrix, is that now they don't have a monopolistic control over discourse. They can't control who is and isn't able to speak. It's now a free market. And that's what the internet has done, is they've created a free marketplace of ideas. The internet has created a free marketplace of ideas. And I think that that's why people were so against Elon Musk buying Twitter, is because Elon Musk buying Twitter created a free marketplace of ideas. Somebody like Hassan can be on Twitter, and somebody like Nick Fuentes can be on Twitter. Welcome to the show. Anybody can be there. Anybody can express their viewpoint.
And the marketplace of ideas, boomer style anti-racism, boomer style racial grievance is not really a hot item in the modern digital marketplace of racial ideas. There's a new hot item on the shelf: American nationalism, white ethnic pride, classical masculinity. These are the new hot items flying off the shelves in the online marketplace of ideas.
And the problem, though, is that a lot of these people know that, and I think in a lot of cases, these people know that their viewpoints really can't stand up to scrutiny or criticism, and they're afraid of that. Why you keep mentioning Nick? Well, I think Nick has been growing a lot, and he's been very popular with young people. And I think that the majority of people, like, it's undeniable that Nick Fuentes has been a very big lightning rod that has attracted and energized a lot of young people towards very conservative ideals. And to deny that is, I think, unfair. I think it's just simply, well, it's not true. That's really what it comes down to.
And that issue of what's true and what's not true is really at the crux of what's going on here all across the realm. You know, once our educated elites decided that a man can in fact become a woman, no surgery, no hormones involved, you can just declare yourself a member of womanhood and it must be true. It was a watershed moment for the nation, in that the very concept of truth itself has been thrown up for debate. And so now we've come to a moment where it's better to value truth, no matter how ugly and awful that may be, than to live in the slavery of lies. Because untruth, to live under the boot of explicit lies is a type of oppression and slavery. Ugly truth, no matter how ugly it is a freedom worth having.
It's not true. And so the reason why I mention him is because I think that among young people, I feel like he's probably one of the more influential voices. And I think that the fact of that and also this is also despite him getting deplatformed, getting kicked off social media, being debanked, you know, all this stuff that's happened. Nick is modern fascism. It doesn't matter. Like you're missing the point. Nick saying these things represents a tremendous amount of people. Whether you agree with it or not is not relevant. The fact that a lot of people agree with it is all that matters. Because if enough people get together, they can do anything that they want. And so that's it.
And so that's it. If enough people get together, they can do anything they want. Your body, my choice. Your rights belong to me now.
They have rights.
They have rights. So fucking what, man?
I hit a woman for the first time in my life, and I'm having fun.
What the powers that be are really afraid of is the paradigm shift that comes along with people consuming a new set of ideas in the marketplace of ideas, right? You don't adopt such drastically, radically new information into your state of being without changing your state of being. And so now you have the youth, the young niggas, the young black men having frank discussions about things that somebody like Nick Fuentes would say, because you know everything he says is unforgivable, and yet here we are, young black men discussing the forbidden.
I think if you come from two dumb parents, you're going to be dumb. I think he was right about that. I think that it's rare that two stupid idiots make a smart child.
Now,
I think he's right about that.
The good thing Nick said, he said, black people, no, they just ain't gonna be dumb forever. That's basically what he said. He said, he basically said, I'm gonna keep it all the way raw. He said, niggas are dumb right now, but no, niggas could actually come and get smarter and advance, but they will never be as smart and advanced as the white man. That's basically what he said.
Wow. You agree with that?
Well, you know, looking at
truth is truth, even when it hurts, bro. Shout out to everybody who stares the truth in the eye and don't blink. It's the only way to be as men. We have to accept truth, wherever we may find it, however it may appear.
Different things in my life, looking at neighborhoods, you know, the community, looking at the countries, looking at what black people are doing right now today, even with the resources. It's hard not to, buddy. That's what point I'm at. And I want to be labeled as one of the most extreme ever. Actually, the pastor today said, "Ain't gonna lie, bro, y'all be saying some crazy stuff on that channel."
Yeah. Hold up, young nigga. Hold up there, young nigga. You got a long way to go before you become one of the most extreme ever. You got a lot of hurdles to cross before you become one of the most extreme ever. You must not know.
None of these niggas have motion except for me.
Am I wrong? I don't know, man. I'm just saying, man. I look, man. I've been around a lot of races, bro. I've been to black schools. I've been to white schools. I've been to all black schools. I've been to all white schools.
Same. I've lived the stark contrast. I know, bro. I know. There is a palpable difference in the two environments.
And I'm sorry, and they both have the same resources. That's why I try to blame
Not
it on
always.
priority. Huh?
Not always.
I mean,
I'll
in
keep it
Houston,
100.
Texas,
and Oklahoma,
maybe not. No,
the suburbs where I went to school were a lot nicer than the middle
Okay,
city
nicer.
schools.
Maybe
We had
nicer.
nicer
Why?
buses, nicer uniforms,
None of that matters.
nicer classrooms.
Only thing that matters is that book, and all of them got the book. And we see how much more they're funded. Black schools are funded more than white people.
They have to be. They're underfunded.
Okay.
You have to spend more on the poor kids. They have less.
Okay, but they have the resources to be smart, right?
Think about the mathematical conundrum he just walked through in his mind. I don't even think he sees the problem in his own mind, but he said it, but he can't see it.
How much more they're funded? Black schools are funded more than white people.
Black schools are funded more than white people. So like we're talking about the inner city, like Baltimore, like Chicago. And what he's getting at is incredibly true. And guys, I'm still having that super chat problem, by the way. But what he's getting at is incredibly true, where a school system like Chicago is maybe $1 billion entity unto itself. And so when you move out into these rural areas where a lot of the white folk live and they get on that yellow school bus and it drives them to school and takes them home every day, they're spending way less money on those kids, bro. Way less money. And so it's really hard to tell me that the group of kids who gets overfunded technically are somehow theoretically still underfunded.
So uniform,
none of that matters.
nicer classrooms.
Only thing that matters is that book, and all of them got the book. And we see how much more they're funded. Black schools are funded more than white people.
They have to be. They're underfunded.
Okay.
You have to spend more on the poor kids. They have less.
Okay, but they have the resources to be smart, right? So I don't understand what resources don't they have? They have a yellow bus.
How much money does it take to learn your ABCs? As a thought experiment, how much money does it take to actually learn how to read? Maybe $2. Shout out to the Midwest Request with the $2 super chat. Mick the Nice is the boomer truth remover. And that's really what it's happening here. Just slowly but surely, people are just learning different sets of facts. They're learning the truth, and they're learning it from a guy like Nick Fuentes. And that's a problem for certain people. They hate that.
Can a nigga live? Can a nigga live? Please.
A home in a book. Why are they not at the same level? Can you tell me why?
It's a lot of reasons, bro. They don't live the same life as the kids.
Man.
They don't live the same life as the kids in the suburbs.
But like
inner city kids are poor. They don't have the
Why?
same nutrition. They don't have the same resources. They don't have the same. They don't. It's a lot of factors, bro. It's a lot of factors.
But remember, those inner city kids get way more government funding directed toward them. So why is the money not helping?
I'm saying we can continue to blame it on entertainment.
I think entertainment. You know what's crazy? When I was just on vacation, we was in the hot tub talking to these two girls from St. Louis. She said, "We have a YN problem. What do you think causes it?" Her friend stood up and said, "Me personally, I think it's the music." I said, "Oh, if my homeboy was here right now, he would be happy to hear you say that." He said the same thing.
He said, "That's what we
I seen the video. Nick said music is not the problem.
He just said that right here.
He did say that.
No, if you continue to watch, he said.
But that's why I said.
He said because without the music, they was still going to do that. That's what he argued on.
He said he is saying it is like in your nature. He's saying that the behavior is your nature to act animalistic and stupid and violent.
And so
I've never behaved that way.
How low IQ is it of black people to just hear music and us to monkey it up?
Bro,
The music
encourages that. The music encourages
so
that.
how stupid is that?
Yeah, you shouldn't let no music influence you to kill somebody.
Exactly.
I can't even justify that.
You know, we in it, we black, so we have a different perspective.
I honestly, I don't like to blame the music. I think the music definitely it helps. Help is an awful word to use in this context, but the music definitely encourages the violence and the chaos and all that. It's sort of like when you wave a flag, when you plant a flag, you never know who's gonna follow. And so for a lot of that gangster rap stuff, it's giving people a signal that this is a thing you can do. And there is a definite effect, but again, I think the music is on top of something that's much deeper.
Him, but I can truly see his perspective 100%. I respect him for telling the people his perspective.
I'll be honest. I don't think it's all black people that are just dumb and doomed and incapable of having.
No, he didn't say that. He said we could do something.
Well, he was basically saying, like, he said we freed the slaves. We didn't make them assimilate or accumulate or accommodate something, accustom some ish. He said
to adapt to a society.
Adapt to the society. And now hundreds of years later, we're seeing the repercussions of that. Pretty much what he said. He's saying that you can't make this. He said they come from dumber IQs, and now they act the way they act and behave the way they act. Because it's in their nature. He said you can't take them from 75 IQs, which sub-Saharan Africans have, and bring them to 100, which is what American IQs is.
So either what Nick said is right or all these comments are wrong. All of a sudden, Candace doesn't like facts.
Candace is Caribbean. I don't know why she was so offended by she wasn't really offended.
Nick is the only one that has the balls to say this shit. So every white man you walk past, he think this shit. So either black people gonna get this shit together. No, I don't know, man. But when you look at Africa and then you look at all the other countries,
that is the racist thing to do. Making comparisons and noticing stark contrast is, in fact, racism. Slow down there, young boy.
This shit. So either black people gonna get this shit together. No, I don't know, man. But when you look at Africa and then you look at all the other countries, it's hard not to. I'm not gonna say, I don't know. I don't know if that's right. Look at Africa. Look at Africa. Can y'all name something to me that's a good example for us?
I like this nigga. I like him right here. Waves are spinning and everything. I like this little nigga. That boy good. That boy good. He gonna be all right. He gonna be 25, 35, 45 years from now, he gonna be all right. Long as you young niggas stay away from him, he gonna be all right. And that was like, it kind of reminded me of the conversation we were having last night with Jeff, and he started getting into the Negro mythology. And at first, I was gracious about it at first because I know enough to really challenge that concept and tear it apart down to the bone. And I didn't really want to do that at first, but he kept insisting. And he brought up, Dr. Henry Clark, and he started talking about, he made a claim about Africans teaching the white people how to sail. And I couldn't do it anymore because the mythology has to go, bro. The mythology is too strong in so many of us. And my point that I was really trying to make with Jeff when we were talking about that racial mythology stuff and all of those alleged scholars and the pseudoscience and I went to Egypt and I discovered that they were hiding all the black mummies and all those niggas, right? That shit is a mental impediment from actually embracing your proper role as a modern American citizen. It is designed to keep black people permanently on an oppositional war footing to the very house that they were born in and will likely die in. And so what you have here is a new generation of people like these kids here who are willing to look at the world and maybe question if we've been lied to about everything. Because these niggas out here is kind of crazy, and it's hard to not notice how retarded it's all getting.
They can't fix the history they did. Their ancestors made this country into a slave a slave hell. But they can clean it up now because they got the Smithsonian. They can get rid of all the slavery stuff. They got PragerU. They can lie about the history to the children. They can't originally invent anything more than they ever were able to invent good music. We black folk gave y'all.
Joy Reid just said that white people can't invent anything.
They got PragerU. They can lie about the history to the children. They can't originally invent anything more than they ever were able to invent good music. We black folk gave y'all country music, hip hop, R&B, jazz, rock and roll. They couldn't even invent that, but they have to call a white man the king because they couldn't make rock and roll. So they have to stamp the king on a man whose main song was stolen from an overweight black woman. They can't.
I think that last part's low-key true, though, but there is an energy of just pure racial hostility coming from so much of black leadership that is just, it's blatant. You know, you don't have to scratch the surface anymore. It's there right on the top now.
When he says, oh, you know, it's Liberation Day and all of these things, those are, you know, ways of him saying, oh, it's white power. It's what I want to do. Those are racist remarks. His number one targets are cities that are led by black mayors.
That's right.
His number one targets are cities
right.
that are sanctuary cities that, you know, support immigration. When he says, oh, you know, it's Liberation Day and all of.
And so black folk are constantly probing for racial conflicts. And there's not even just our elected officials. This stuff is in the universities as well. This is a professor here.
Whites are psychopaths, and their behavior represents an underlying biologically transmitted proclivity with roots deep in their evolutionary history. How many of you could see the proclivity that evolved deep within the evolutionary history of whiteness by show of hands? How many of you could see it? Some people are sitting here, oh no, I don't want to raise my hand. That's called denial. There's no discussion
that nigga
about the delusion.
Nigga gay.
And the perversion of whiteness. Say this with me. Rape culture in America is a legal, economic, and moral institution. So we have it written in the law, you can rape black women, but we've never been a racist country. This goes beyond gaslighting, and it's rooted in psychological delusion.
Now, for a lot of black people for the last couple of years, well, not couple, for the last couple of generations, especially coming out of like the 70s and that revolutionary period. I was explaining to people how a lot of those revolutionaries went on to just become professors. Like they totally just went into the system and they started to work from within the system to produce more radicals. Like Angela Davis right now is still a sitting professor in California. And these are the types of lessons that a lot of black folk were consuming over the years. And at the same time, other types of images and propaganda has been pushing this attitude forward.
It's not luck.
Be white.
It's not luck. It's privilege.
We're privileged that people see us, not a color.
Privilege that we don't get stared at when we walk into the room.
Privilege that we don't get followed by security when we go shopping.
Or pulled over when we're in the wrong neighborhood.
We're privileged because society was set up for us, and our silence keeps it in place.
We're privileged, and that's unfair.
Be white.
And so while all this was going on in the country, on the one hand, on the other hand, you had a lot of content creators on the internet rising up and giving a different version of things. And we start to see, because of the internet, we start to see a different image of things compared to the projected image, right? Like here's a random question for you guys. How is it that Black folk became synonymous with violence on a Carnival cruise ship? See, all of your messaging about white people bad and white privilege and slavery and racism, I don't know how that explains how Black folk became the rightful face of violence on a Carnival cruise ship. Of all places, mind you, a Carnival cruise ship. Like, it's in the title. This is a floating party. And niggas will fuck up a floating party.
Over chicken tenders is crazy.
Black college life. Sugar Bum, I'll have you know, Black women are not escaping the violent charge. When people think of violence, they think of Black people. They don't just think of the men anymore. Once upon a time, maybe you could have gotten away with that, Sugar Bum, but Black women's violence is at comic book levels now. Now, this, yeah, I have no idea. Dorm storm, college stuff. I just dropped my daughter off at college yesterday, and there were so many white people around. I think I saw like 2 Black families dropping some kids off as I was there. It was a bunch of white folk. It's beautiful, actually. None of this shit, nothing like this, none of this bullshit. It was quiet, it was calm, people jogging, couples walking by, none of this nigga shit. Anyway, on to the next video. This is hilarious, by the way.
What is faster, sound or light? What question is it? Sound. Think so? That's what yours is. The sound was moving. Let's see. I think sound, bro. That shit, that was fast as fuck, though. I ain't gonna lie. That light was kind of moving, though. Now, that time that light was moving. Let's do 1-1 then. 1-1. What is faster, sound or light? What question is it? Sound. Think so? That's what yours is. The sound was moving. Let's see. I think sound, bro. That shit, that was fast as fuck, though. I ain't gonna lie. That light was kind of moving, though. Now, that time that light was moving. Let's do 1.
Niggas are doing scientific, high-level theoretical physics right now, bro. I don't think you understand. Niggas are smart, bro. Niggas be geniuses and shit.
What is faster, sound or light? What question is it? Sound. Think so? That's what yours is. The sound was moving. Let's see. I think sound, bro. That was fast as fuck though. I ain't gonna lie.
The light was kind of moving though.
Now that time that light was moving. Let's do 1-1 then. 1-1.
The N word, which like children, we have to, like the F word, I said the S word. We still have to say the N word. And I think this speaks to the level of the whole country, as we all know, is walking around on eggshells not to offend the black people. We all know you can offend white people, Hispanics, you can offend Asians, you can heap discrimination and racism on Arabs, Muslims, even Jews on some level. But we all know black people, careful what you say, or else you'll be canceled. If you're not in good standing, if you don't have the stamp of approval, you'll get shouted down. And I think it's totally ridiculous. So I totally oppose it. I think that, look.
Earlier, I mentioned truth and this idea that people are starved for truth. And so we want to see the truth and we want to hear the truth, no matter how awful it may be. And over time, Nick Fuentes has proven himself to be the most reliable truth teller in modern media. I mean, he's knocked down. He's taken Tucker Carlson off the throne. Battled Jason Whitlock and won. Made Alex Jones look small on his own show. The kid's been killing it everywhere recently.
It's a word, sticks and stones, break my bones, etc. People get called retard. People get called all kinds of other things. People can say things that are even meaner, that are more personal. But for some reason, blacks are this protected class. You can't say their special word. I think it's total joke. I think that if whites and blacks want to live together in harmony, there has to be a real mutual basis of equality. Nobody's ever said that there's things off limits you could say about white people. Jamie Foxx can go on SNL and say, I play Django. I get to kill a lot of white people, which is pretty awesome. You talk about killing white people on TV. That's fine. You utter the syllables of a slur. Suddenly you're a racist. Like Michael, or what's his name? Kramer from Seinfeld. It's totally insane. It's got to go. And by the way, that's for the benefit, I think, of both people.
And so now I think for the last couple of generations, black folk have had we've had the dominant voice in the American racial discourse, and that is coming to an end. And a new voice is going to assert itself. And people are kind of afraid of this uncertain future, but I don't know if he's as scary as you make him out to be.
It's a shame. I really do believe, look, I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel. And, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare. And I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative. Most people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the fuck? You're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane. And, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like that's their interaction is they are a waiter and they wait on a black table and the black people don't tip and they're fucking rude. Like that's most people's interactions. It's stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude. Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude. That people don't, it's unpleasant.
And, I listen to, especially when you're in one of these more pro-black spaces, and you listen to people talk as if black folk have never done anything wrong, as if the sky is constantly falling on black people. And it's almost a willful obliviousness as to how we are truly perceived amongst, you know, the rest of the world.
What exactly did black people ever do? What did we do for white people to hate us so much? Like, I'm genuinely asking, what did we ever do to deserve anti-blackness in every single community?
People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings and shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people, when you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people. And you equate that with danger.
We were talking about DC yesterday, and a lot of black folk don't like the obvious connection that if you're gonna fight crime in a city like Washington, DC, that means you have to go directly at a lot of the young black men who are causing a lot of this crime. And so now you see images of interactions with the police, like Sharon yesterday is saying, they're harassing people all the time. They're abusing their rights. Well, I mean, that's who you have to go talk to if you want to stop crime. And now that the police are getting in the face of a lot of these dudes and asking them questions and just being visible on their block, people are saying Washington, D.C. is as safe as it's ever been in their entire lifetime. What a coinky dink. Maybe you did have to put some pressure on those young black men if you wanted to be safe.
And it doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And we just want black people to take accountability and say, look, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative. And sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face. You know, that's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if
I'm not a racist, I'm really a nice guy. and right now, this is the shift that's going to happen, right? It goes from I'm not a racist, I'm really a nice guy, to I am a racist and I'm really a nice guy. It's going to be subtle, but it's going to happen.
If like I could get a gun in my face, you know, that's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if I'm someplace and I see some black person walking in with their pants sagging and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive and I'm in fear for my life, like, yeah, I have a problem with all of that. And people.
Black folk have a problem with that. That's why black flight. As soon as black folk can make some money, they move away from niggas. And it just so happens a lot of the best places to live away from niggas full of white people. It's a coinky
go, and these black people go, well, you're racist, you're racist. It's like, no, I just hate inconsiderate behavior. If black people were super well behaved, we would be racist in the other direction. We'd say, black people, oh, yes, dude, yes. My day is about to turn around for the better. What can I help you with, sir? Please come right on in. Man, what a relief to see you here. You're a sight for sore eyes. If black people are known for being the best, then we would be racist in the other direction. Oh, finally. So yeah, that really bothers me. It just bothers me in this damn ass city because that's all it is in Chicago is just these black people who can never take accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
And anybody from Chicago want to address that? You know, he's talking about the Chicago niggas. You know, New York niggas, we got nothing to do with that. You know, that's the Chicago nigga thing. You Chicago niggas have a rebuttal. But anyway, look, that's Chicago niggas, right? Listen to how he talks about Africans, though. There's a whole other level. It really is levels to this shit.
But these black people, the ones you know, these African Americans, their average IQ is about 85. It's about 85. And so they'll shoot you for no reason. They'll mug you. They'll take your phone. They'll destroy thousands of dollars worth of property to steal $20 from a cash register. They're total sociopaths, some of them. These super predators, they're total sociopaths. But you are not ready for real Africans. Because
I don't think I'm ready for real Africans. Hell, I don't think a lot of Africans are ready for real Africans. That's why them niggas is over here trying to get away from real Africa.
Real Africans, on average, have an IQ of 65. Full standard deviation lower. Different animal altogether. No pun intended. Totally. This is a different kind of person we're talking about. You think it's bad when they're running after you, they're going to kick the shit out of you, steal your iPhone, your AirPods. These people are going to chase you down because they think you have gold nuggets inside your head, and they're going to crack your skull open with crude stone tools to get it. That's a different ball game. They're
total different type of nigga. You're not ready for third world experiences, right? You know, your average nigga, you know, single mom, poor, mama wasn't all loving. She's probably a little rough around the edges, that type of stuff, you know, rough neighborhood, had to fight all my life, that type of shit. You know, nigga shit, right? And then you got, we hid in the bushes for 3 days and the soldiers came and they took all the women. And then they took me and they gave me a gun and told me to go shoot the villagers people. So I had to slaughter my own village. And now I'm a boy soldier. And now he's on Flatbush Avenue selling fake jewelry. Like, his background makes a completely type of different nigga. It's a whole different type of nigga out there, bro. That background creates havoc.
going to be chasing you like in the African savannah. They're going to be throwing spears at your neck, at your throat, bow and arrow. And they're cannibals. They will eat your organs. They will literally gut you like a fish and eat your internal organs. You thought it was bad? Holding a gun sideways to your head. Hey, give me your money, bitch. You know, and sometimes they kill you. Sometimes they let you go. But if they do, it's somewhat of a quick and painless death. And I said it from the start, this is advanced darkness. This is heart of darkness. This is the jungle drum. This is the fertility goddess of chaos. They're literally going to eat your balls. They're going to cut your fucking nuts off and eat them.
And now you know where the drop comes from.
And I said it from the start, this is advanced darkness. This is heart of darkness. This is the jungle drum. This is the fertility goddess of chaos. They're literally going to eat your balls. They're going to cut your fucking nuts off and eat them.
Whoa, what? They're gonna what?
And you see something like this, and on some level, I also, here's another thing that's brutally honest that maybe people aren't going to like. I almost don't even like to see it. I don't even like to see a beautiful white face being portrayed as a victim. Because although people need to see what's happening, although people need to see the reality, on the other hand, I'm getting really sick and tired of broadcasting white people being killed, white people being abused, white people being victimized. I understand there is a political purpose for that. I understand, of course, that it is creating outrage, and so there's and of course it's the news. We want to see who's there. But there's something that offends my pride as a white person to constantly see blacks as the predators and whites as the prey, blacks as the killers and whites as the killed. Because on some level, you know that black people take some sort of sick pride in the fact that we live in fear of them. We live in fear of their impulsive, reckless, senseless violence. Somewhere.
And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we
blacks as the killers and whites as the killed. Because on some level, you know that black people take some sort of sick pride in the fact that we live in fear of them. We live in fear of their impulsive, reckless, senseless violence. Somewhere deep down, and it comes out when these things happen, they do take some sort of sick pride that this is the dynamic, that we are peaceful, that we aren't given to violence, that we can't call upon and summon that kind of brutality in an instant, in a moment, in the way that they can. And on the one hand, while we're very sympathetic to the person who was killed, of course, the killer is at fault. It's almost broadcasting our own weakness, and I hate that. On the flip side, we don't want to see white people going out and killing black people in an equally senseless way. That would be immoral.
And as much as he says things that maybe are racially charged, I think it's hard to actually call him a proper racist. I think what you're getting here is a level of frustration and honesty that simply has to be contended with. You can't just hide behind calling everybody a mean, racist, poopy head. Like, that's done.
Out and killing black people in an equally, I'm broadcasting our own weakness, and I hate that. On the flip side, we don't want to see white people going out and killing black people in an equally senseless way. That would be immoral. We don't want to see innocent people being killed on the other side of the racial divide or something like that. And this is where you have the government that comes in. What is offensive to our sensibilities is the lack of justice. That here we are as white people trying to have a civilization, trying to have order, peace, prosperity, beauty, productivity. Here we are trying to have, in a word, civilization. And we are not allowed to be left alone. We are being forced to live among people that refuse to be a part of it. They refuse to be peaceful. They refuse to be sociable, respectful, productive. Any of these things.
There's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population.
And I'm not seeking agreement from white people at all. I don't prioritize whiteness or white people in my work in that way. So turn to your neighbor and say, as much as we want to talk, about how bad anti-Blackness is. It is the foundation of all American, all white American institutions. We then get to Ron DeSantis. He says, in Florida, we're taking a stand against the state-sanctioned racism that is critical race theory. We won't allow Florida tax dollars to be spent teaching kids to hate our country or hate each other, only to hate Black people. We will invest dollars in that. I think whites are psychopathic. I think there are many lies, the level of lying that white people do that has started since colonialism, we're just used to it. Teenagers, young people that are going out and committing home invasions and hitting women over the head with objects and stealing their purses. I want you to just say that's just human nature. And if you're sitting here, you're going, wow, he sounds really pro-Black. I am.
Your show is ass, and you're full of shit, and you're retarded.
Oh, wow.
And that is why I'm not just coming for Rumble.
Tucker.
I'm not just coming for Twitter. I'm coming for all of it. I'm coming for all of it. You thought you'd bring me on the show and press me about Dave Smith? You don't know who the fuck you're dealing with. You let in a fucking dragon, bitch.
Oh, wow.
Imagine shooting a man with this last bullet, which actually happened to me.
Gotta be.
They came to my house. They tried to kill me. I'm still here. I'm still at this house. You know where to find me. Bitch! You tried shooting with your last bullet, and I stand there, unfazed. So bring it on. Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk. I'm coming for all of it. I'm going to fuck up your apple cart, and all the king's men are not going to be able to put it back together again. You might kill me in the process, but you're fucking done.
Wow.
This dude's crazy.
He is very, very unapologetic.
He's real hard.
No, I respected how he started off. I'll die for America. Will you say the same? I'm America first. Hey, man.
So what did Tucker? I bet people waking up like, damn, what I do?
No, him and Tucker been going back and forth.
Remember the
Tucker,
50?
I don't understand. Tucker called him a gay little weirdo living in his basement, and then Nick went off on him, was like, I'm the people you claim to represent. Like, you claim to be for the young men that are confused living in their basement, the weird kids, but I'm the weird kid, and that's my audience, yet you're attacking me for the thing you claim to represent. And then he called him a fraud, basically saying Tucker has bragged about being rich and elite, and he's grew up privileged, and he doesn't represent the everyday American that he claims to. No, I think Nick Fuentes is on fire right now.
I'm the realest nigga.
I think he's I think the groper movement is very strong. And I think a part of the reason what he's trying to address is the reason they're trying to come at him and paint him as this bad guy is because his movement is so strong. Like, it's stronger than what they've been building. And I think that based on what I see on social media, specifically X and even TikTok, I think he has a pretty strong movement and people behind him. Like, the groper movement is very strong. And boy, once one of them get on your ass, it's going to be an army of them on you. So
look, I think Tucker, I think Candace, I think Elon, I don't know who Milo is, but I think all of them are real niggas. But if we talking about like purely saying what's off their mind,
yeah,
that's being a real nigga. Like, that's you real.
If you
that's being real.
Don't care.
I would say
Nick might got the biggest real nigga call. I gotta be real.
He's the most bold.
I will say the reason why he does have more of a real nigga card than them is because they all worked for networks and pushed the network's agenda at some point. That being Tucker and Candace.
Elon did something big.
Now that being Tucker and Candace. With that being said, I do think that Nick is self-made. Like, he came up all purely being himself, saying what he thinks, standing on business, and now he has this movement of strong people behind him, while the other two have kind of defected and built their own thing. So I just respect. I respect that more.
Hold on.
No, I'm not
Candace
saying I don't
Candace
respect.
been doing
I'm not
this
saying I
shit.
don't respect Candace.
Candace has been doing this shit.
Candace is
But
Candace
y'all aren't
OG.
listening, bro. She and Tucker both worked for networks and
I
pushed
mean,
what the
you
network
got to.
said that they
she
wanted
left
to.
the network whenever she didn't want to push something that she didn't agree with.
That's all.
But she said,
How many young black men you think listen to the Cartier family? Because they got a pretty successful channel, you know, they got a nice footprint, but this was not supposed to happen. Young black men, young educated black men were not supposed to be willing to listen to somebody like this and process what's happening and be all right with it. This was not supposed to happen. Shout out to the Midwest Request with the $2. He says Republicans lack the passion that Nick brings, and that's a fact. There is a realness about him that you just really can't get away from, and you can't fake it either. And for you know, all the ugliness, for better or worse, his realness taps into something that other people feel, but you know, he says the things that other people are afraid to say, type shit. Like, so it's hard for people to just ignore what's happening here.
she said
She did it
the
for
reason
that.
she left the network was because what she was saying was frowned upon, but when she was saying what they wanted her to say, they clapped. So that's why she left.
That's
Tucker
my
the
point,
same
though.
way. He never took no money from nobody, has been standing on business about what he believed the whole time.
And I
That's
believe
why he
Candace
say
has
he's
well.
a real nigga.
So they
I
all
don't
to
think y'all.
me. They all
believe
kind of
Candace-
even, bro.
I rock with
You know,
Candace too.
a
I rock with
Democrat.
Candace too. But at some point, you know, they
Nah,
they
she
didn't
left,
come up
bro.
the same way he did.
She left as
She
soon
left
as
her network, bro.
They say, oh,
You say they're getting crucified on Black Twitter for this, and that is to be expected, right? Because at the same time, I mean, listen, he is not a pro-black. He's a pro-white.
If we are white, we will give up the white racist. I never said this, but many used to say, we will give up the white racist. We will sacrifice them because we condemn racism objectively, because objectively racism is wrong. And we as white people can recognize it's wrong. And it's a grievance against, or an offense against black people. And we condemn it. And we want to show that just because they're white, we're still going to do the right thing. We have gotten none of that in return. None of that in return. 30 years of white people policing ourselves, sacrificing even family members, reporting on family members, and it's gone so far in the other direction, and we're getting stabbed to death, and they celebrate. O.J. Simpson verdict, they celebrate. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, they want to lie and pretend like, oh, they're just buying an Arizona iced tea. Oh, he's a gentle giant. Oh, St. Floyd, pray for us. For the burglars and the fentanyl addicts. We pray. I mean, really?
And so he really does tap into a particular frustration that even a lot of black folk share now. A lot of black folks share the same sentiment. I was on the ground floor, ground zero of the George Floyd thing. Like, what the hell is wrong with you niggas? It was crazy the shift that happened with black people during the George Floyd moment. It was wild watching it just play itself out that way.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
So this was white people saying, you know what? Fuck you. You can't have, we will judge our own people in our own system. You can't have them. We're not turning over another white person to you because they said the wrong word. Fuck you. White people get stabbed to death and you say, oh, they had it coming. He was 17 years old on a football field. They had an altercation.
He's talking about Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony.
It's called teenagers. It happens. And they said, oh, what? We ain't no Rosa Parks no more. Hey, well, fuck you then. Fuck you. So we will give $700,000 to Shiloh Hendricks and the next person that says the N-word. Because it's just a word. Get over it and get over yourself. And I said this on Twitter. I said, look, this is...
Do Black people need to get over ourselves?
Get over yourself.
I think about that often. I swear, you know, Black folk, we just too stuck on certain things. And it's like, you know, there is this thing called the future. And most people sacrifice for the future and not for the past. And it's weird that most Black folk don't do that.
And I said this on Twitter. I said, look, this is why it's happening. This is tribalism. This is Black people being loyal to each other. This is white people catching up. We're just getting hip. If Black people are going to look out for Black people, if Jews are going to look out for Jews, if Hispanics are going to look out for Hispanics and Asians are going to look out for Asians, it's time for white people to look out for white people. If every time a white person does wrong, they get annihilated, but when a Black person does something wrong, even if they're objectively in the wrong, they get protected. The community circles the wagons and rallies behind them. Who's going to die? I mean, we're getting killed out here.
And armies of young white boys are listening to this message, and there is no other message they would rather hear than his right now. And so, you know, you got like Jason Whitlock desperately trying to figure out some kind of solution to the Nick Fuentes problem. I don't know what you're going to do, bro.
So this is white people saying we're now going to play by the same rules. You defend killers, burglars, drug addicts, rapists. You defend all level of impropriety, immorality, unfairness. Okay, well then that's a two-way street. So this is actually a really significant moment because I didn't think white people had it in them. Because white people are the first ones to plead, I'm not racist. Oh, please accept me. I'm not a racist. I'm just a nice guy. Please like me. Oh, I hate racists. I'll turn in my own father. I'll turn in my own uncle. I'll turn, so-and-so said the N-word. I'll report on them. You know, white people are doing it on their behalf. And so for white people to actually circle the wagons and defend one of their own, even if they did something ugly, it's actually a big step in the right direction.
You know, one of the reasons why I think it's important for at least me to play this kind of content, because if you notice on this channel, I always use Nick Fuentes clips, but you've never seen his face on my screen as much as you have today. In the entirety of my YouTube existence, we have never focused on this kid so much. And the thing is, I notice in the travels I go to, these different channels when I'm on my sojourns through Negro land, niggas talk about people, but they never actually play what they're saying and break it down frame by frame, handle the arguments as they're stated. And so if you're going to hate them, you should at least hear them first.
But it didn't start this way. People like to say, oh, well, you know, this is really wrong. This is very dark and disturbing. It's been dark and disturbing. It's been dark and disturbing for a long time. It was dark and disturbing when the O.J. Simpson verdict happened, when the Rodney King riots happened, when the race riots happened in the 60s, when they burned down Chicago and Detroit and every other city. It's been dark. It's been messed up. It's been like that for a long time. But white people, one, were more racist back then, and two, we took it on the chin because we were in the vast majority, and there was some reprisal. It's only been the past 20 or 30 years when white people have been turning the other cheek and just getting hit again, just getting hit over and over again. So white people are finally saying, you know what? This good faith that we had between the races, it's clearly not being reciprocated. We're done being called racist. We're done being lectured about microaggressions and this and that. We're done with the double standards. It's 2025. Obama served 2 terms. Slavery was 200 years ago. Enough already. So this is a monumental blow against political correctness, wokeism, white guilt. And it's a major step in the right direction towards a white consciousness, white solidarity, and whites thinking of themselves as a group, because we are one. We are a distinct group. We're a distinct genetic group. We have a distinct heritage. We have a distinct culture. None of which, by the way, any other group cares about. When these Indians and these Hispanics and these blacks and so on, when they take over a neighborhood, they don't preserve the culture. They want to turn our churches into mosques. They want to turn our nice neighborhoods into favelas, into ghettos, into enclaves of some other foreign country. They don't.
And you know, this is another thing that I think black folk need to pay more attention to. There is more of a threat coming from outside when it comes to like these different ethnic groups. Like white Americans are the least of your problems. They're not building 50-foot statues of white Jesus in Texas, okay? I hear the second monkey god statue has went up now in Texas, right? So they got giant monkey god statues. They're working on the Muslim neighborhood. I heard they tried to stop it, but it's still going forward. They got the whole Muslim neighborhood takeover like Sharia town or something. You go to New York City. I was asking Izzy this on a channel yesterday because I was trying to explain this to niggas but couldn't really get it through. Even in New York City has changed greatly in my lifetime, where when I was a kid, all the corner stores in Brooklyn were like Spanish bodegas. It's Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and such, right? Now every corner store is owned by an Arab. They got all the corner stores and they run in smoke shops now. And they got whole little neighborhoods, right? They got their whole little enclaves. You know how like they got in Williamsburg, they have their own like security. I think there's another neighborhood in Brooklyn, they got this too, but like they got their own private little Jewish security police force. It's like an NYPD group, but it's a Jewish thing, right? The Muslims have their exact same thing in another part of Brooklyn. It's a small neighborhood, but they have their like NYPD unit doing their Sharia patrol and whatnot. And this is a level of ethnic encroachment where you have foreign groups like that. You know, you have these the South Asians setting up their cultures and their little communities and their bazaars and all that. You have all these different Arab populations, all the different African populations moving in. And it's now all these different groups encroaching on the native American stock, which are the black and white people of this country. Yet somehow we hate each other and we're not going to work it out.
Come here and preserve our culture. They don't give a damn about the Catholic Church. They don't give a damn about our food, our music, our holidays, our customs. They're tearing down our statues. They think all of our heroes are racists. They think all of our culture is Eurocentric, Western-centric, white supremacist. They want to enrich us with their culture, which they are proud of. If we're not sticking up for ourselves, no one is sticking up for us. And if no one is sticking up for us, guess who we're going? Out. We're done. Finished as a group, as a culture, as a civilization. You know, you might have in 1,000 years in some museum in Beijing, they'll talk about what the Europeans used to be like. So in Venice, they used to have these canals, and in Paris, they used to have cheese and wine, and in England, they used to have eel or whatever they eat over. They used to have beans on toast. They'll have a museum experience. It won't be living because it's not theirs. It's not theirs. They don't value it. They don't have ownership over it. That's not their identity. So if we're not sticking up for that, it is going to disappear.
And there it is. Nick Fuentes, the hated face of young white America. Shout out to the Coon of Coons with the $5 super chat. Darks are willing to keep the lies alive all the way to the grave. Current state of community. Truth is racism. Thank you so much for that support. Hit that like button. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. We're going to wrap this one up in just a second. Thank you so much for watching.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
I tell you what. We're going to listen to Nick roast Jason Whitlock one last time on the way out the door.
You know, I saw Jason Whitlock responded to my clip, and I actually happen to like Jason Whitlock a lot. I really respect him. I respect his piety. I respect his belief in God. I have the utmost respect for him. I really do. I follow him. I like his content. I engage with it consistently. I think he's really a solid guy. I have nothing but nice things to say about him. I think he's a very good man. I don't know him personally, but from what I can tell, I think he's a very solid guy. But he responded to my clip, and he said that I am pushing the same idea that Jesse Jackson did. And he said it's not necessarily, he says he can understand where I'm coming from. He says Jesse Jackson had a quote in 1993 where he said something similar, that when he hears footsteps behind him walking down the city streets, he gets nervous thinking it's a brother, and he turns around and is relieved when it's a white person. He said, so he gets it. He says, black people say it, white people say it. He says there's some truth in it. And Jason says the real solution to the problem is that we need to reach these black people with Christian faith. We need to inculcate them in the Christian religion. And I actually understand where he's coming from, because I can imagine that if you are black, you empathize on some level. If you come from that world, if you come from that community, and you know people that are in that world, part of that sort of way of life, I can understand why he would have more empathy for gangbangers, for, you know, these black kids that are lost to the streets than white people do. In the same way, honestly, honest to God, let's be fair. Let's be absolutely fair that white people have sympathy for the people who are problematic in our group. Which is to say, when you look at a school shooter or something, when you look at an Elliot Rodger, when you look at someone like this, let's just be fair. A lot of white people do say, well, you know, so-and-so was bullied. When we look at incels, when we look at right-wing extremists, we say, well, hey, white people are being pushed to the brink. Well, white people are being radicalized on the internet. Well, white people... And you can understand how when white people commit a crime, white people want to talk about the root causes, whereas non-whites say that's indicative of how we're evil, we're a menace. And I can understand on the flip side how that's also true. How when black people see black perpetrators of violence, they want to talk about root causes. They want to say our young black people are not being given a chance. They're not being given the gospel. They're being poisoned by the media. That's why I can understand why he's more empathetic. And on some level, I agree with him. I think that is ultimately the solution. The ultimate way to reconcile all of our differences and iniquity in the world is to be Christian. I absolutely agree with him on that. But I think where I disagree, and this is my disagreement, although I respect him, it's a respectful disagreement. I think everybody would be a lot more comfortable if we first established order. That is the problem. People are afraid. People are terrified. This is an unacceptable state of affairs. And when I hear what Jason Whitlock says, forgive the comparison, because I don't mean this in a nasty way. But it doesn't, to me, sound much different than what Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, says. The mayor of Chicago, we have a real problem here in this city. And the Black Teachers Union, mayor of Chicago, says it's about root causes, creating opportunity for young people. That's always the line. It's always investing in the youth, mentoring the youth, programs for the youth, this sort of thing. It's a root causes versus law enforcement approach.
And that's why DC is full of federal agents getting up in niggas' faces right now. Because this is absolutely true. Everything he just said is perfectly reasonable. You know, both sides may have a natural tendency to want to cover for their own. However, when it comes to the nature of crime in a lot of these inner cities, these urban areas, it's so out of hand that root causes don't even matter at this point. It is not an insignificant fact that DC is effectively under siege because you beat up a young white boy who was connected to the president. Everything Nick said is reverberating now through this presidential action. Everything he was just talking about can be summed up in that one action. And now Trump is sliding in DC. Trump is sliding for big balls right now, spinning the block 24/7.
And I agree. I think that we need a reset. We need a hard reset with Black people. They're in this very toxic cycle that's certainly not making things better. I don't know if that's the only reason, but it's certainly not improving things. But we need to reestablish order first. First, you need to get the worst of the worst off the streets and behind bars. First, you need to put police and the military back in these communities. You literally need the National Guard. It's out of control. We can't live like this. We can't live like this. They can't live like this. Nobody can live like this. The Black people can't live like this. The white people can't live like this. Black people are killing Black people. They're killing white people. You need to bring back law enforcement first and foremost. And let's just be very plain about this also. They told us the problem was police brutality. They told us the problem was mass incarceration. They said that Blacks were being arrested for walking while Black, being pulled over because of racial profiling. They said that in many cases they were being imprisoned because of nonviolent drug offenses. They wanted to abolish the police. They were wrong. Blacks were being put in jail for committing crimes. Blacks were being brutalized by police in many cases because they run from the cops. They resist arrest because cops deal with this stuff. And they're angry. I'm sure many of them are tired of seeing this story play out over and over again. They're in fear for their life. I mean, God forbid. Imagine you're a police officer. You pull someone over at 2 a.m. It's some beater car. It's some brothers. You're alone. You got to walk up to that window on the side of the road. I mean, and you wonder why this stuff happens. They were wrong. They were mass incarcerated for a reason. Police brutality, to the extent that that's even real, it's because they run. It's because they got a warrant out. It's because they're guilty. It's because we see now why. They wanted to abolish the police. Now it's a crime wave. They said, oh, we can't catch a break. Our lives matter. This is so terrible. They wanted to get rid of the police before they could even achieve that. They're rioting, looting, murdering, carjacking, stealing. And the reason why now we have a problem is because everybody is afraid of what the solution would look like. The solution would be a lot of Black people in jail. The solution would be a lot of cops in Black neighborhoods.
The solution is Washington, D.C. And that's just being nice. The real solution is El Salvador. They just pay for you to go to an El Salvador prison. They will spend money to have El Salvador build a jail just for American prisoners, and then they will send you to El Salvador. That might be the next plan. But right now, the plan is Trump is in D.C., niggas going to jail. You better be careful. Leave that thing home right now.
The solution would be a lot of Black people getting the shit kicked out of them on a body cam by a cop because they resist arrest. Cops got to protect themselves too. Cops are the law. We need the laws. That's what it would look like. And people are not ready for this because it's going to make everyone deeply uncomfortable. There will be accusations of racism. People need to get ready to say, we don't care. So I'm perfectly.
How right was Nick? Remember, this is just after Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf. And he's saying that the solution, what has to happen, is police getting in Black people's face and a lot of Black folk going to jail. He's like an oracle.
Neighborhoods. Solution is because everybody is afraid of what the solution would look like. The solution would be a lot of Black people in jail. The solution would be a lot of cops in Black neighborhoods. A solution would be a lot of black people getting the shit kicked out of them on a body cam by a cop because they resist arrest. Cops got to protect themselves too. Cops are the law. We need the laws. That's what it would look like. And people are not ready for this because it's going to make everyone deeply uncomfortable. There'll be accusations of racism. People need to get ready to say we don't care. So I'm perfectly happy to agree with Jason and say, and a lot of these black people for that matter, I don't have hatred for black people. I actually like all people. I love all people. But it's like I said last.
What was that? I didn't catch that, Nick.
And say, and a lot of these black people for that matter, I don't have hatred for black people. I actually like all people. I love all people. But it's like I said last night. It's like I've been saying on the show. I don't have a racial hatred. I don't have hatred in my heart. I do not have a deep animosity. But white people are very tired of seeing the hypocrisy, in a word, the injustice, the double standard. White people are sick and tired of seeing this kind of merciless violence on our streets. We don't feel that we should have to tolerate that when this is not a problem that is coming from our community. We want to see law and order reestablished. And white people need to get there really by any cost in terms of people being imprisoned or you know, these George Floyd type events. We need to reestablish law and order.
Is he the white Malcolm X? Did he just give a by any means necessary? Hold up. That was a little bit Malcolm X-ish. Fuentes X, bro. By any means necessary. We will get these niggas under control.
We want to see law and order reestablished. And white people need to get there really by any cost.
Whatever it takes, huh? Whatever it takes, bro. Lil Nikki X, man, I'm telling you. Trying to tell these white boys, y'all used to be kings, man. Y'all should be kings again.
Wait, what? Great. Now, what's our motto? We was kings. We was kings!
Nikki X and his young white kings, man. I'm trying to tell you. There's a whole new wave out here. There's a whole new wave. Now, he's the real Malcolm X. He's the authentic Malcolm X. That other nigga, he was just a light-skinned nigga cosplaying. This is the real Malcolm X, bro. He's the true Malcolm X, bro. There is none other. They're going to have to send somebody at him. That crazy bitch wasn't enough. You're going to have to send real shooters at him. That's how they got rid of the first Malcolm. You got to send real shooters at a Malcolm X, bro. He is the white Malcolm X by any means necessary. We will take back our capital. We will take back Washington, D.C. We will rule this nation again.
Oh my God, we'll have our home again. My God, we'll have our home.
The OG cauliflower colonizer. And what's really, I think, appealing about Nick Fuentes is when the groper wars kicked off, there was a simple strategy that they put in place, right? You go to these events where like Charlie Kirk is speaking, and you dress nicely, you sit there, you know, respectfully, and you don't use any profanity, you don't use any hostile language, but you ask really sharp, thought-provoking, provocative questions. Like, I'll never forget what they did to Rob Smith on stage. It was immaculate. The way they just eviscerated his entire presence in the conservative movement. Rob Smith has never been the same. He hasn't recovered. Rob is on stage next to Charlie Kirk, and they're having a question moment. Then one of these groper guys gets up there and he asks Rob Smith, what is the value of gay sex in a conservative movement? Just straight mic drop. Like it was a live action hose mad moment. He asked this gay black man, a military vet, on stage trying to lead the conservative movement, what does your homosexual behavior have to offer in a conservative movement? And I swear that nigga Rob wanted to fight him, bro. It was crazy.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
And then the dude told Charlie Kirk to control your gay. Oh my God, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. That was a hilarious moment. Oh man, I you know what? I don't know. I haven't tried to look that up in a while. I don't even know if you can even find that on YouTube. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see. Rob Smith Groper. Let me see what pops up. Nah, I don't know if I can find that clip so easily. It's like an old clip now. Wait a minute. I think this might be it. ABL did a video on it. Oh, he's not playing it. Oh, see? He doesn't want to play it. Nah, it was a crazy moment, SKC, because he just yeah, it was like it had to be there, because now the internet tries to memory hold the clip. If somebody in the chat knows how to find that clip, please throw it in the chat, because it was hilarious, bro. It was such a moment, and it really kind of threw a dagger right into the heart of the whole TPUSA thing, because they were on a roll for a minute. They really were on a roll, and then because they had Candace Owens at the time. Then they had Rob Smith. The whoa, I think I found it. Wait a second. I think I found it.
So my question is, again, it's directed to Mr. Kirk because he was raised as a conservative. As the guy before has said, you've advocated for homosexuality, said that there's a place for the gay agenda within the conservative movement. My question is, and you're also comfortable with transgenders and cross-dressers, I understand. So my question is there any point where conservatives should take a moral stance on Christian morality, or should we abandon it altogether? So in other words, what is TPUSA's,
It's a really cool arm patch, by the way. Wonder where he got that.
Is your brand of conservatism doing to actually conserve Christian morality? If we're ceding to the left on transgender, gay rights, gay marriage, we don't want that in conservatism.
So you don't want him in the conservative movement? I just want to be very clear. Let's just be.
So you don't want me in the movement?
No.
Not if it waters down.
Hold on a second.
No, we don't.
I want to be very clear.
We don't need to compromise our fundamental.
Hold on a second. You're bringing some very charged language. I'm going to try to calm down the temperature in the room, so I can try to rationally understand an irrational position.
Why should we
let me finish?
Compromise our fundamental.
Why is it irrational for the church to not want Rob there? And let me not say the church, but if this is supposed to be a Christian conservative resurgence, why is Rob here? All right. All right. It's one thing that you brought your black friend. Okay. No, all right. No, nobody's going to make a public fuss about you bringing your black friend as long as he's chill. But he got to be a gay nigga too. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're doing a lot right now, Rob.
Let me finish. So I'm a Christian. I believe the Bible's the greatest book ever to exist in the history of the world. And I believe Rob Smith has decency and dignity as an individual in the United States of America. Hold on a second. We're not a theocracy. We never have been.
And you know what? And wait a minute. Let me hop in here. Hold on, because I'm in it.
Really
he's addressing me.
answers.
The thing that I don't understand. Well, I'm addressing you. How about
You
that?
don't even have the courage to address the gay man on stage.
So the problem that I have with as somebody that is a gay Christian, and this is the problem that I have, because my relationship with God and coming back into the church over the past year and a half is one of the greatest gifts that has been given to me.
Whatever you're doing in the church, it's not working, Rob, because you're still gay. You would think walking into the church would cleanse you somehow. It didn't, though.
That nigga gay.
In terms of being in this movement. So my question to everybody who tries to say that, oh, you shouldn't be, Christian because you're gay. Why are you trying to turn people away from God? So if you love God
Totally
and
twisted.
Christianity is so right, because I do love
Trying
God.
to turn you away from
So why
homosexuality.
would you be trying to turn me away? Why would you be trying to turn me away from God?
So we're going to get
and another thing, and one thing that I don't do, and one thing that I don't do is that there is no man that is of this earth that is going to tell me what God has for me and how much God loves me. So
Ain't no man
goodbye.
gonna tell
Thank
me
you
what
for
to
the
do.
question.
You heard him. You heard the host in the background. Ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. He's turned into a whole Keisha real quick. That nigga just did a whole Keisha spin move. Whoa.
Next question. And one thing that I don't do is that there is no man that is of this earth that is going to tell me what God has for me and how much God loves me. So
Ain't no man
goodbye.
gonna tell me
Thank you
what
for
to
the
do.
question.
Ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. Bro, these niggas gotta be stopped, bro. This was such a great moment. This was what they were calling the Groper War. And it was incredible. And True Hype, I got the clip, and it looks like he was the guy that came up just before this, but let me see if we got a shot of that. Okay, I think we do.
Part B.
We now understand that sexual liberation is political control. It's a form of political control. And you have multiple times advocated on behalf of accepting homosexuality, accepting homosexual acts as normative in the conservative movement. How does sex help us win the culture war?
I'm going to let the gay man answer
Wait a minute.
No, hold on. How does that help you win the culture war, Rob? How does you and your husband help the conservative movement?
Us win the culture war, conservative movement. How does sex help us win the culture war?
I'm going to let the gay man answer
Wait a minute. So can I ask you a question? Can you have the balls to ask the gay man on the stage that question and don't defer to him? So ask me that question. I will answer you that question. I'm gonna answer you. You already asked the question, so I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to ask you that question. This is America. This is the greatest freaking nation in the world.
Hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Realize that America is great because we have Western values. We realize that, no, let me finish, dude. We realize that gays and lesbians are able to contribute to American society in the same way that everybody else is. And let me tell you, when you continue doing.
Boo. That nigga is dying on stage right now, bro. If they had tomatoes, they'd have threw them shits at him right now, bro.
Okay, you realize that we are here. We are able to do everything. And let me tell you something as well.
Charlie looked like his head is getting bigger right now. This is when Charlie's head started to grow. You know, there's that meme with Charlie Kirk with the big oversized head. This was the day it started to grow.
I served in the military, right? I served 5 years. I did an Iraq tour. What's up?
How does homosexual sex help us win the culture war?
Who said homosexual sex helps you win the culture war?
And, well, that's a problem now, isn't it there, Rob? That is a question you can't really answer there. It's imponderable, isn't it?
I served 5 years. I did an Iraq tour. What's up?
How does homosexual sex help us win the culture war?
Who said homosexual sex helps you win the culture war?
That's the question that I'm asking. Why are you promoting it?
Well, it's a BS question, and you know it is. It's not. It's a question that is not being. It's not a good faith question.
So
No, SKC. I don't think Charlie Kirk still does things with his gay black friend anymore. I think he got tired of getting teased by all the groypers, and so he stops doing things with his gay black friend. Now Rob is just off floating in the world doing gay black stuff by himself.
Yeah,
it's the dude. It's not a good faith question.
Rob, like, honestly, I don't care what two consenting adults do. So that's
the whole thing.
And your hyper focus on it is kind of weird. Thanks for being
you
here.
seem to be really interested in gay sex. I'm pretty sure if you're into that, you can go find somebody to do it with. I don't know, maybe. I'm not here to tell anybody what to think or what to believe, but for me, somebody like that doesn't really have any place in the conservative movement because it's something that is so behind the times.
Yeah, yes. And this is like when MAGA started to really hate the groypers. But the groypers are right, and the groypers are not going anywhere. How does conservative homosexuality even what is that even a thing? He's a conservative gay. What does that mean? He only gays during business hours? Like, what does it mean that you're a conservative gay? Like, it's such a non sequitur. And so he just kind of revealed a huge problem, not only with Charlie Kirk, but within MAGA on the whole. Like, Nick Fuentes was kind of like that little voice in the back of your head saying this whole thing is fake and gay. And it took a lot more time for the whole thing to come out, but you know, this was 2019.
And you can boo and you can do whatever you want to, baby, because I'm gonna be me and I'm still here.
Evil. So valid question, dirty response. And you know, it's a little bit of a dirty question. And for some reason, I just happened to look at the chat, and this guy Tion, T-E-O-N, says
that are white European point to the
and I'm going to already voting with the fact that whites are becoming. Oh, here's that. Very interesting question.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau population projections, in 2045, whites will account for less than 50% of the population in the United States. Given that the Democratic Party's policies do not point towards the maintaining of our American ideals, And given the most groups other than whites overwhelmingly vote Democrat, how can we be sure that said American ideals will be maintained when millions of immigrants come in with majority Democratic support? Can you prove that our white European ideals can be maintained if the country's majority is no longer made up of white European descendants? If
right.
not, should we?
Grapers are making racial questions mainstream. You know, I've been talking about liberalism colliding with race and ethnicity and even religion a little bit. And the Grapers were on the forefront of that. You will have to contend with issues of race and religion if you want America to be America.
Support mass legal immigration.
Okay, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Let me answer, I guess, your question with my perspective. I've been asked this a couple times in the last week and a half. Let me tell you my stance on immigration, then I'm going to tell you where I think you go terribly wrong with your question, okay? I think that we should embrace Senator Tom Cotton's RAISE Act, which is to lower the amount of legal immigrants into our country, but increase the merit base that we let people to come into our country. End the visa lottery, end chain migration, make English the official language of the United States, build the southern border, and restrict the amount of flow of border jumping and line cutting to come into our country. But I'm always perplexed by this argument that I'm always interested by this argument, like, oh, how are we going to maintain our white status? So let's play out that racist idea. And all of a sudden we let a bunch of French people in our country. No,
That's a caricature of his. He didn't say
let's play that idea. We let a bunch of German and French people who are all socialist and hate our values. The insinuation of your question is that somehow race and ideology are intertwined together. President Donald Trump has been wrongly accused.
They kind of happen to be, though. That's my whole. I noticed this. Like, only white Europeans, and only some of them are even liberal at all. The rest of the non-white world, liberalism is a gay fantasy that Europeans be into. And so you really do have a problem on your hands here, bro.
Of being a racist president. Do you know that President Donald Trump received more support in the Latino and the Black community than John McCain and Mitt Romney?
Because he's real.
Combined.
I will also say that it is a failure of the conservative movement to not be able to communicate to communities in the Black community, which I believe the Black community is an inherently conservative community, a community that is around the ideas of the Judeo-Christian tradition. It is a pro-life community. It's a hard-working community. And so to reject your premise.
Virtue signaling about the Black people. We don't believe that shit. That's not part of the question.
That, oh, how are we going to keep the white status of this? I find that to be a racist question. I reject the idea behind it. I do not think America should become a white ethno-state as a country. In fact, I think that is a fringe perspective. I appreciate you being here, and I'm going to rationally push back against it every single time I come in contact.
And this is where it all started to fall apart, because you basically have Charlie Kirk, who's like a representative of the young white men of the country going forward. And he's on stage with his gay Black homie friend, his homie lover friend over there, saying that I'm okay having increasingly less white people. Whatever increasingly fewer numbers of white people there are, me and my gay lover homie friend, we good with that. And he just black-pilled a lot of people. Yeah. There it is. So it's about an even 2 hours. I got to get up out of here. You guys, thank you so much for watching the show today. Oh, and shout out to I just saw True Hype with the $2 super chat. Rob left the Republican Party shortly after this. Well, I mean, nigga had to go, bro. That nigga had to go. He didn't belong there anymore. After that, it was a wrap.
Nigga, please. Serious.
But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate y'all pulling up. Hit that like button on your way out. Throw $1 in the collection plate as you make your way out the door. This has been Nick Talks About the Black People.
These blacks.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.